All right, what's going on, everybody? We got a excuse me. Let's try that again. We got another Dandadan stream today. I also want to talk about Gachiakuta, because Gachiakuta is already having some issues. Some are with the anime just in general, and some are outside of just the show. Some are with Bones, possibly Crunchyroll. So, yeah, Gachiakuta is off to a rocky start. Not bad, but definitely not as smooth as Dandadan. Dandadan started in October. Instant success. When it officially released, there was a lot of stress going into the Netflix debut, but once they dropped it, blew up. Gachiakuta has kind of been struggling to be relevant, I guess. It is relevant, but it's definitely not mainstream yet. They pushed it a ton during Anime Expo. Obviously, the manga is huge. And there's been a ton of hype for this anime, right? It's like the next Soul Eater, the next Fire Force. It's the next big Studio Bones project. Episode 1 was good. Episode 2 also good. A lot of people don't like the opening. A lot of people don't like the Gachiakuta anime opening. The song, you either like it or you don't. Not everyone likes heavy metal, especially metalcore. But a lot of people don't like that this this opening basically has no visuals. It's kind of like an Attack on Titan opening, or some people compared it to Tokyo Ghoul. And it's very artsy fartsy. It's very, I don't want to say high level because it's not above anybody, but it's a very intellectual opening, which is good sometimes, but I feel like they went the wrong approach. They went the wrong approach for a brand new IP. They should have gone for something much flashier like Dandadan does, but I still think it's underrated. I think for this series it's perfect, but visually it's very underwhelming. The opening song is cool, but the visuals kind of left a lot to be desired. I mean, I would say the one thing that they objectively did wrong in the opening is they barely showed off the characters. You can have an opening where like nothing really happens, right? But especially for season 1, they don't really show you anything about the story. Which, like, usually we have the opposite problem. Usually they give everything away. They spoil everything in the opening. So you're like, well, this sucks. This is the opposite problem. This opening, you don't know anything about Rio. You don't know anything about Engine. You barely know anything about Rudo. You barely know anything about Zonka. They don't show their abilities. They don't like tease their backstories, right? So yeah, it's kind of a head scratcher because they went for like a very intellectual opening when at this point in the game, I feel like they know better that you got to go with like the flashy openings, right? I mean, Black Clover. Not everyone watches Black Clover. It's popular. It's not like the most popular series, but it is popular. Excuse me. But Black Clover, when they had that last anime season, Studio Pierrot got that opening trending on YouTube. It was like number 4 trending on YouTube. It's crazy. And then Justin brings up a good point. No new episode next week for Gachiakuta because of Japan's elections. Is that what it is? So if that's the case, then I feel like it should be a lot of other anime. July 2025. Oh yeah, look at that. So yeah, that explains it. Thank you, Justin, for pointing that out. I was about to go on this whole rant about how Studio Bones is already having production issues. Like this is studio bugs all over again. But so I'll just say one thing about it before, you know, somebody asks about it again. So clearly it's not a production thing. It's just they've got elections, and for whatever reason that's getting in the way of Gachiakuta. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you. Maybe it's a broadcasting thing. I will say though that this is going to be like, I hope this isn't going to be a thing where like little by little there's just things that keep stockpiling that tamper down the hype for Gachiakuta. So week 1 they didn't have the opening. That's fine, right? Week 2 opening comes out. Mostly everyone thinks it sucks. Week 3 there's no episode. So for a whole week, basically 2 weeks, nobody's really talking about Gachiakuta for like 1 to 2 weeks, over a week. Obviously they only have so much control over that if it's an election thing, but it kind of just goes to show like this anime is fighting an uphill battle for whatever reason. It's really battling to be a top contender this season. That's the other thing too. Thank you, Jordan, for pointing this out. The other thing that's going to be a problem is Gachiakuta is very slow to start out. There's exciting stuff for sure, and you meet all the characters, and it's fun in that sense. But it's a lot like Fire Force, where for the first like 12 episodes, not a whole lot happens. Like there's stuff that happens, but like not a lot happens. That whole Jabber fight, that's like chapter 30. So 2 chapters an episode. So that'll probably be like episode 12-ish when that fight starts, something like that. Or am I tripping? Is that more like chapter 20? I know it's kind of early. I know it's like the first big fight. I just can't remember when it starts. Was Soul Eater or Fire Force better in my opinion? I would say Fire Force is the more thought out story. Like it's more fleshed out. The world building is better. More fleshed out, better world building, more detailed and organized plot. That being said, I just think the character writing in Soul Eater is better. Fire Force is like right there. Like Fire Force has some great characters, but the Soul Eater characters are just one level better. I like the Soul Eater characters better. And, you know, despite what other people might say, characters are the story. Like you can have the capital P plot, but it comes down to your characters. How do you think Steel Ball Run will be animated, perhaps 3 cours with 16 episodes. All I have to say about Steel Ball Run is my expectations are very tempered. And the reason I'm saying that is because Stone Ocean was good, but, you know, it was nothing revolutionary. And, you know, they announced Steel Ball Run a while ago, like, excuse me, earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken. And then we come to Anime Expo and they don't have anything. They made this big announcement that like they were gonna drop Steel Ball Run news and they barely showed anything. So I don't know what's going on with Steel Ball Run. I'm hopeful. I mean, it's like arguably the best part of JoJo. So hopefully they go balls to the wall. But yeah, there's a few signs where I'm like, doesn't seem like it's squeaky clean over at Dave Pro. Yeah, I agree. I can't get into Fire Force even though I know it has a good story, but I don't really care about any of the characters. That's the thing, right? There is no objectively good story. If you can't get behind the characters, for you, I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm not speaking for myself, but if you say to yourself, I don't like these characters, I don't care about them, in your experience, that's bad writing. Because it is a writer's job to make you care about the characters. So if they can't do that, then that's, in your experience, bad writing. There is no objective good writing. All they did was say more information coming September. Exactly. Like, they put out like, oh, there's going to be, you know, big news at Anime Expo, and we got nothing. No teaser, like no clip, no nothing. Why am I saying Gachiakuta might be cooked? Well, part of it was of the delay, but we found out apparently that's because of Japanese elections. So maybe the broadcast is, the elections are getting in the way of the broadcast on TV. I thought that was going to be a production issue, but that's not a problem. Really, it's just kind of fighting to stay like a top anime this season. Good writing depends on the person's perspective. It's not so much perspective, but just your experience with the story. Because everyone has a different experience with the story because we're all the sum total of different life experiences. So like, because of who I am and where I've come from, I'm going to experience something very differently than somebody else and their background and what they like, right? That being said, there's always certain things that people say in different ways, but they all touch on the same ideas. They showed the main staff for Steel Ball Run. Same people who worked for Part 5, so that's a big W. I mean, I would have kind of assumed. Is Doga Kobo or JC Staff a worse studio? I don't know who Doga Kobo is, so I'm just going to say JC Staff. Anyway, I've been yapping for a hot minute. Let's get to the Dandadan episode, and then we can rant a bit later. So, yeah, there's definitely such a good thing as good story structure, but, you know, there's no such thing as, like, objectively good. Like, there's principles that everyone follows, right? Like, for YouTube videos, you know, everyone's got to have like a hook. Everyone's got to have, you know, structure to videos, right? But like, just because I like a YouTube video doesn't mean you have to like it. All right, Dandadan. Everyone's saying this chapter is really good. So, recap from last chapter. They finished their business on the plane. We learned that Okarun got a new exorcist weapon. Team Momo finally got to this temple to exorcise the curse on her and Zuma and the old man. But they get there and the exorcist is like, oh, hey, I know this is a bummer, but somebody just robbed us. I can't really help you. So now they're helping the priest recover their stuff from this robber who's been robbing all these temples. So they get to this castle, it looks like, and somebody pulled this up on Twitter last week. Apparently, this is a real-life castle in Japan. I can't recall the name, but this is like an actual place. All right, so they're running up. Evil Eye is waiting in the car with the taxi driver. And they're also racing for time here, because if they don't do this fast enough, the curse is... It's going to be too late to undo the curse. They're recovering the Uchide no Kuzuchi. It's a magic hammer. A ninja comes out. Holy shit. No way. They're fighting a ninja in Dandadan. Get the hell out of here. Yukinobu Tatsu is drawing a ninja fight. Oh my god. Let's go. There's multiple ninjas, and not just multiple. There's a ninja army. Holy shit. Oh, wait, no. Are they ninja clones? Because it's just supposed to be one ninja. The Phantom Ninja Thief, but it's not just one of them. They said we. Then we'll at least spare your lives. Oh, is this a trick? Is this a trick? What the hell just happened? It's Saint Germain. Get the hell out of here. Also ripped. Oh my god. Holy beefcake. What is this guy eating? This guy's drinking a lot of juice and doing a lot of push-ups. Holy shit. Look at this guy. Dude, he was really good too. I don't think anyone saw this coming. Holy shit. Dude, he is jacked. Like more than Gigi. I was not expecting him to be so ripped. It's a frog ninja. So Saint Germain teamed up with Greninja to fight Momo and Seiko. What the hell? Jesus, what a friggin' chapter. Kagurabachi author at Anime NYC might have to see if they're doing a panel. I hope so, because from what I heard, Kagurabachi was like non-existent at Anime Expo. Let's be honest, Dandadan Season 2 is going to be Anime of the Year. I don't know if it's a guarantee, but it's definitely going to be a contender for sure. It's going to have to compete with Solo Leveling Season 2, because Solo Leveling Season 2 was this winter season, and Solo Leveling destroyed this year's contest awards. Dandadan is coming for Naruto. Look, man, if Tatsu wrote a ninja manga, I'm not saying it would be better than Naruto, but I would read it more than I read Boruto. Dude, rate Gachiakuta. Is Fire Force better or Gachiakuta? I would say it's too early because you can't talk about Fire Force without talking about the ending. That being said, I like how Gachiakuta starts better than how Fire Force starts. I will put it that way. And I will say I think I like the characters in Gachiakuta more than I like the characters in Fire Force. Fire Force has some characters that are way better, but overall I like the Gachiakuta characters better. So I can't give it like a number rating, but that's my elevator stance. Everyone's losing to Solo Leveling Season 2, unfortunately. I think Dandadan will be the one to give it a run for its money, but I still think Solo Leveling is going to sweep just based on the mainstream fandom. Unless autumn, so this fall season cooks, there isn't a ton of competition. There's like barely anything coming out in the fall season. I think the one thing is One Punch Man. There might be something else. So they're fighting all the ninja clones. They get boarded up somehow. Saint Germain traps Seiko. Interesting. This is gonna be, oh my god, bro. What a freaking cliffhanger. Such a good 10 out of 10 chapter from Dandadan. Holy shit. I have to go back. I gotta look at last week's chapter. Bro, that was so good. I never saw that coming. To be fair, in the back of my mind, I was like, you know, this feels kind of, not rushed, but like fast. Like it feels like we're zipping from the whole thing on the plane. And I was kind of worried that we were going to get into a whole new thing and like drag out the story more, but this was probably the best twist in Dandadan we've ever seen. And I cannot get over how ripped this guy is. I mean, he's huge. Jacked. Look, that guy does not skip leg day. He's huge. That guy is doing leg presses and barbell squats and drinking his protein shakes. That is crazy. So I want to look at, I think his hair does look slightly different because usually he kind of just has, I think he usually has like the side part. I know he does it different when he's in like teacher mode. Read the previous chapter. Let's see. You know what it was? When he was pretending to be a priest, he had his eyes closed the whole time. That's what did it. If he had his eyes open, you know what's funny is if you follow these streams, I've said on stream before how Saint Germain is not slick at all. Like his whole teacher persona is the dumbest thing because he's hiding in plain sight with glasses. He's doing the Clark Kent thing and he doesn't even bother to change his name. His name is Count Saint Germain and his teacher name is Sanjome. So it's like, how does nobody pick that up? That would be like a Superman named himself like Kent Man. Like what? That'd be like if Peter Parker named himself Parkman or Peterman. What? So that being said, I gave this guy so much shit for being a dumbass, for being a blockhead. And he fooled everybody. He was really slick with it. Nobody saw that coming. That is crazy. So he like slightly changed his hair and closed his eyes. He just closed his eyes. Squinted. That is crazy. So I take back everything I said. Read the chapter again. That's not Germain. Is it not Saint Germain? I'm pretty sure it's Saint Germain. Is that Count Saint Germain's brother in the new chapter? He just, that's part of the mystery, right? Is he doesn't like introduce himself. Well, let's look at Count Saint Germain. It looks like him because he's wearing like the coat. I might have to take back what I said about taking back what I said. Either way, Tatsu wrote a 10 out of 10 chapter. Let's look at Count Saint Germain. It looks like him. Oh, you know what? I don't think this is him. No. No, this isn't him. I think this is a guy pretending to be him. Yeah, that's a good catch. I thought it was him. Okay, so I take back what I said. Chat, I see you in a second, but I want to address this. So here's what happens, or here's the comparison, right? Let's pull up a recent chapter because I'm just pulling up on Google. Let's see. No, let's look at 189, 190. Let's see if I can find him in a recent chapter. $193. I know he was in the chapter either right before or right after we took a break. So let's see. Damn. Okay, here we go. So it's either 182 or what? It's 182 should be. Okay, so here's why this is not Saint Germain. One thing to note is Saint Germain usually is wearing earrings. They kind of look like keys. So that's one thing this character does not have. That's number one. Number two, Saint Germain actually has like very bold eyelashes. If you look at his normal design when he's not wearing glasses, he has like very prominent eyelashes. So this character does not have that. So that's number two. And number three, Saint Germain actually has much longer hair than the character we just met. Saint Germain, his hair comes down like kind of below his shoulders. This character, his hair comes like, not like bowl cut, but like below his ears. So yeah, it looks like him. It looks a lot like him, but it is not him. Unless he changed his appearance. It's not him. This is Count Saint Germain from a different universe, multiverse. Bro, if Dandadan starts pulling out the whole multiverse thing, that's going to be interesting. I mean, we already have space travel, so it's a possibility. Bro, talk about peak villain. That would make Saint Germain. Who's the Marvel villain who like conquered all? Kang the Conqueror, is that his name? Which is very fitting because they're both about like domination, right? That's like kind of their thing. Kang the Conqueror. I'm not familiar with Kang the Conqueror, but isn't his whole thing that like, I mean, obviously it's in his name, but isn't his whole thing that he like formed an alliance of all the different counterparts of himself, and he's the Kang the Conqueror we meet is like, he's him, like he's that guy, like he's the ultimate Kang the Conqueror. So that's kind of the same thing with Count Saint Germain, if that's true. Bro, I didn't think Tatsu could do it, but I don't think I've ever been more excited to read Dandadan than right here, right now. This is crazy stuff. The way he bows to Seiko, you know he's about to... Yeah, he's like taking this seriously. This is like a professional fight. He's like, all right, I'm gonna take a bow before I kill you. That's crazy. Could be his brother. That's insane. His legs are how I want my legs. Man, you gotta start doing some squats. Gotta start leg pressing. Do some calf raises. JJK Season 3, less hype culling game. Your opinions? I think Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be very popular, but I don't think it's going to have the same energy as Season 2. I think the fandom is dead. Obviously people are kind of over it after the manga ending. So yeah, I think JJK is on borrowed time, but I do think culling games is going to be very popular for sure. Do I think Dandadan... I like how you typed out triple D instead of just typing 3Ds, but you know, you do you. Will have a satisfying ending once Tatsu's done. I think it'll have an amazing ending. I think it'll have one of the best endings we've ever seen in a manga. Did the hype for Gachiakuta die or something? That's the thing. There's been hype for it because they pushed it a ton during Anime Expo, and there was a huge turnout, at least online, for Gachiakuta at the time. And there was a ton of hype for episode 1, but I kind of feel like Gachiakuta is like, it's not quite hype. What's my favorite anime? It's between Dr. Stone, One Piece, and Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. Excuse me. How do I feel about the chapter? 10 out of 10. One of the best twists in the whole story. Perfect from beginning to end. Now I have like all these crazy theories about like Count Saint Germain and what's going on with this seemingly new character, right? Because he looks like Saint Germain, but he's not. So it's like, what's going on? Yeah. Okaroon, Gigi, and Zuma will save Momo. New monster trio on the way. Basically, right? Gigi and Zuma about to be the left and right wings of Okaroon. Bro, perfect chapter. Like, absolutely perfect chapter. I do want to tweet something on Twitter before somebody else steals it. So I put Dandadan 202 in a nutshell, and I just put a picture of Greninja. Vague enough. Vague enough that nobody will get offended by it, but or nobody will get spoiled, I should say. But if you've read the chapter, obviously you get it. But that's literally what happened. Unless I could draw like a really buff Greninja. Dude, what a good chapter. We got Gamer Chan Leanne. What's going on, Leanne? How you doing? Pleasure to have you. Friendly reminder to everyone in chat, if you enjoy the streams, if you want to support the streams, make sure to become a channel member. Lowest tier is $2.99. You get custom Dr. Stone loyalty badges that upgrade the longer you are a member. There's different like levels to them: gold, silver, platinum. You also get custom emojis. We have Dr. Stone, we got Fire Force, One Piece, all kinds of good stuff. So make sure to become a channel member today. I'm on vacation, so I'm okay. Nice. Good for you. And nice Suika emoji. Wooby Dooby just subscribed. Well, welcome to the channel, Wooby Dooby. Wooby Dooby. That's fun. I like that. Quick summary, why is Gachiakuta cooked again? I'm glad people keep asking me this, which is okay. I thought it was cooked because there's no episode next week, but apparently it's not a production thing. They just have elections going on, which I don't know why it would get in the way. Maybe because the broadcast is taking up the episode slot. But the other thing is nobody likes the opening, which is kind of a bummer because, you know, openings are kind of how you know, get the name out there, right? But everyone's like, yeah, no bueno. It's like very visually underwhelming. So we'll see though. I have hope. I want to take a look at Manga Plus because also I have a thought before I get into Manga Plus. OP was peak, the opening is fire. I like it. I didn't like it at first because I was like everybody else. I was like, bro, what is this? Nothing happened. But it definitely grew on me. It's a very intellectual opening. It's not flashy, it's not trendy, there's no memes, but I like it. Jabber's chapter 15? Damn, that's early, so he's only gonna be like episode 5, episode 6, maybe episode 7. OG, any thoughts on a Momo Vamola tag team? Well, it seems like that's what's gonna happen because they just got split up from Seiko. I think that could work because they kind of did it already on the plane, but I mean, they're in a castle, so I don't know what Vamola is gonna do outside of her kaiju suit. If anything, I'm more excited for like Vamola abilities on her own. That being said, Momo is kind of at a disadvantage for obvious reasons. So they're going to have to team up. As far as what they do, I don't know. Maybe Momo like gives Vamola like psychic armor, right? And maybe Vamola does like a kaiju hybrid form, right? Kind of like a Power Ranger thing. I don't know. We'll have to see. What do you think about Evil Eye in the taxi? I think it shows that they're trying to keep this like very melee style because Evil Eye just destroys everyone and like soccer balls everyone and does like evil Kamehameha. So yeah, also confirms that I don't think Vamola is going to use her kaiju form. I'm waiting to see how this fight turns out. I do think there's a possibility that people will be like, bro, Evil Eye was in the car the whole time. Bro was chilling out, smoking a cigarette. Like, what's going on here? Who's hotter, Queen Sensei or Count Saint Germain with the 12 pack, so the ninja we just met. Bro, that's a toughie. Definitely Queen Sensei, because, you know, she's just got that personality. The ball is gone, though? What do you mean? He can still do, like, the soccer ball kicks, so I don't know what you mean. What do I think about the new Dandadan OP? Well, if you haven't seen my video, I did a whole 12-minute video talking about what I like about the OP, but since you asked, I really like it. I think I still like the first opening better, but this one's very good for different reasons. It's a bit darker than the first one, but I like it. I really like it. Edens says, I got Evil Eye being a last-minute save to help either Seiko or Momo and Vamola after they fight for a bit. Yeah, I feel like he's going to be a trump card, because he's going to be like, you know, I'm an adult, I'm a grown-up, I don't have to sit in the taxi, I'll just go do what I want. It'll be like that the Key and Peele skit where they're eating at dinner, and he keeps saying, I'm a grown-ass man, even though he's like a literal baby. I think Evil Eye is going to be like, I'm a grown-ass man. I'll do what I want. And he's going to go join the fight when they're like, oh, shit. No, the ball and the house are stuck in the evil underwear. It was explained in the bonus chapter. Oh, right. Yeah, because they told him to, like, chill on his powers, right? Isn't that what they said? That makes sense. Oh yeah, because he took his underwear off when Okaroon and Evil Eye made the deal. He took his underwear off. He was like, oh yeah, here's where all my evil powers are. And he literally took his underwear off and gave it to Okaroon. His dirty old whitey tighties. I remember that now. Okay, that makes sense. What is the worst arc of Triple D? I don't think they're bad, but some of the early arcs are slower than the more current stuff. So, yeah. I don't think Dandadan has one bad arc. Even the like board game arc, whatever that's called, it was like kind of a sidetrack, but you know, we got Zuma and we got like this crazy fantasy world and battle, so it was good for what it was. That was like the Thriller Bark or the Skypiea of Dandadan. It was kind of a detour, but for what it was really good. So checking out Manga Plus. One Piece number 1, Boruto number 2, Chainsaw Man 3, Dandadan, and Kaiju. So top 5 unchanged. Ichi the Witch still 10, Kagurabachi 9, which is good for Kagurabachi. Also confirms that Kagurabachi and Ichi the Witch are neck and neck. For anyone who doubts how popular Ichi the Witch is, it's, I mean, by definition, just as popular as Kagurabachi. Kaedagami doing really good at number 7, although it's still experiencing that like new series peak. We'll see how it's doing after like volume 2 or 3. Spy Family is at number 6, and I have to ask, is there anyone in chat, can you just like give yourself a shout out that like actively follows Spy Family? Because I still like it. I kind of dropped it. I just picked it back up. It's good. I feel like it kind of loses its charm because I like it better than Sakamoto Days because it doesn't just like fall into the trap of like, okay, well, now we're going to raise the stakes and do all kinds of action. It remembers its initial charm, its initial premise, but I feel like it doesn't really do anything new. So it's still good, but not as good as it could be. I follow Spy Family. Okay. If if you read Spy Family, it's still good. We're on a your arc right now. Okay. Dope. I'm like 20 or 30 chapters behind. I was just rereading the whole series. I'm on chapter like 90 right now. There is a pretty good chance that I will do a Spy Family video next month, because Spy Family is coming back relatively soon in the next year or so. It's either this fall or the winter. Can someone remind me when that is? But I want to do a video talking about what happened to Spy Family, because it was like huge, and now I feel like nobody really talks about the manga. And obviously the anime had its issues as well, so yeah. Bro, Yor, great character for purely scientific purposes, of course. Somebody said, Crazy Boy 190 said, from what I've seen, people don't like the isekai arc because it ignores the main cast for a completely new character. Well, it takes a break from the outer members of the main cast. So like Kinta isn't in that arc, Gigi isn't in that arc really. There's no Vamola, which I think is nice because it gives us a break from those characters. So when we come back to them, we have a better appreciation for them, right? Because sometimes you're with characters so much, you're like, bro, nothing has happened with this character. But if you take a break from a character for like 30, 40 chapters, it gives you more time to flesh them out without like the added scrutiny, is what I would say. Eddie Rayman, am I late? You are a bit late. We're gonna wrap this up in a couple of minutes, but yeah, it's okay though. We always love to have you. Comes out this fall. Okay, yeah. So I will almost certainly do a Spy Family video in August then, to get ahead of the fall season, even though it doesn't come out for a couple of months. Keyword potential? Who said potential? Did I say potential? Okay. The manga has not been talked about since the chapter a few months ago that had the potential reveal of a character with similar powers to Anya. Keyword potential. Yeah. Spy Family is interesting. Like, it's there. It was hugely popular with season 1. It had like a Dandadan effect similarly, where like season 1 dropped and like boom, it was the thing everyone was talking about. Season 2 came out and it was still popular, but it didn't have that same effect as season 1. We'll see how Dandadan does. I hope that's not the case with Dandadan. Season 3 for Spy Family, I feel like Spy Family will have a better run in season 3, because honestly the fall season is really between, off the top of my head, Gachiakuta, Spy Family, and One Punch Man. I feel like Japan still loves Spy Family. Spy Family is really, really good. It's just, it doesn't really change the formula all that much. And like, it takes its time with the story. I mean, I remember thinking to myself, like, it kind of takes like 70 chapters for anything to really happen plot-wise. Which by comparison, which is an unfair comparison, but like if you think about like what happened in a series like Jujutsu Kaisen by chapter 70, that's really slow. And even if you compare it to something like Gintama, there was a bunch of stuff that happened in Gintama by like chapter 70. Witch Watch, another one, right? Plenty of stuff happened in Witch Watch by chapter 70, so it's like, it's a bit slow. That being said, it's not really what you read it for. Combined with it being a bi-weekly, barring any break weeks, doesn't help either. Is it really bi-weekly? I thought it was weekly. Shows how much I follow. Oh shit, yeah, you're right. Bi-weekly. Bro, wait a minute. Do we get a chapter with with her hair up? Oh man. Bruh. And why are you doing this to me? Am I about to lose my mind for Spy Family again? I was really into Spy Family before the anime came out. I got into it when it was still like a niche series back around like chapter 20. And I was reading it like every week. It wasn't until like chapter 70 or so where I was like, it was around the time that we got Lloyd's backstory where I was like, I think I need a break. Wouldn't be surprised if Spy Family ends in like a year or two. I mean, it's on chapter 119, so I feel like it'll probably go on till about chapter 200. That sounds about right. I mean, they've made their money. They don't need to drag out this manga. That being said, I love Spy Family. I think it's awesome. And if anyone tries to make a jab at Spy Family, you let me know. I will use my YouTube powers to destroy them. Spy Family is Endo's first genuine success since he started his career in the early 2000s. I wonder what he's going to do next. Honestly, I feel like he might take a big break because the vibe I get is that he's very tired from drawing Spy Family. Aaron Clark just subscribed. Well, welcome to the channel, Mr. Clark. Do you think there will be more pairings once Momo and Okarun get together? So if we're talking like romantically, maybe. I feel like we're at a point where we're just focusing on Okarun and Momo, and it's not going to be like, you know, say Eden Zero, where like we kind of tease ships with other characters. Gigi and Ira gotta hook up. Thoughts? Kind of. I could see that, but I don't really think it could work, but like it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's really all I have to say for today's stream. I do want to take another look at the rankings just real quick. Odor of the Flame is at 17, so it's doing good. Staying in the top 20. The last thing I'll say is I don't know what's going on with Kyoshi, because I feel like this Black Parade arc is kind of all over the place. And the pacing is a bit confusing. So Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi, as much as I love it, is in, we'll call it uncharted territory, is what I would say. Not doomed, but unclear what its future looks like, if you ask me. Yeah, man, Eden Zero is definitely due for a reread at some point, which reminds me, I was gonna say, it's been forever since we got a new Radiant chapter. So last chapter, I think, was either April or March. So if it was March, then April, May, June, July. But I think it was April. Let's look. Let's go to Radiant. Last Radiant chapter, yeah, it was March 22nd. So we'll call it beginning of April. So April, May, June. We're going on like 4 months of no Radiant. That's crazy. I hope it comes out soon because I've been fiending for Radiant. The nice thing is that once it comes back, we'll be on more of a regular schedule. God damn. Mashima's 90s one shot was fun read. Yeah, the one shots are actually really nice. I like the one where they're like rangers, right? Like they're Sentai. That was like the first ranger reject, funny enough. There's no real expectations on a new chapter until Tony starts dropping art on his Instagram. Good to know. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's stream. A couple updates. So the video schedule this week is going to be a little weird. You've seen that already. We uploaded Sunday. We uploaded today. If you haven't watched the new Gachiakuta OP video, make sure to check that out. There might be a video tomorrow. If not, it'll be like Thursday or Friday. Video Saturday, probably. I had to move stuff around because of Gachiakuta. So this week will be a bit weird with the videos. Stream Thursday. Thursday will be either Marshall King or some random rant. Maybe we'll make it Dr. Stone Thursday. No stream Sunday, unfortunately, again. I have family coming to visit, so I will be unavailable all day this Sunday. So should be back the last Sunday, or the last 2 Sundays of July. But yeah, unfortunately this Sunday, no Shonen Jump stream. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. I will see you guys Thursday. Peace.